Namaskar, hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I am Namrata Singh and you're watching Perspective. The Ministry of Textiles recently concluded the two-day Textile Summit 2026 under the theme Textiles for Global Markets in New Delhi, bringing together policymakers, industry leaders and academia to discuss the future of India's textile sector. The summit focused on sustainability, exports, value addition, innovation and global market expansion, while reiterating the ambitious goal of achieving $100 billion in textile exports by 2030. India today is among the world's largest textile producers, consumers and exporters. The sector is a key driver of economic growth and employment, contributing over 2% to GDP, nearly 10% to industrial output and 8.63% to India's exports. So, in today's program, we will discuss India's textile growth story, the key outcomes of the Textile Summit 2026, and how the sector can help India move up the value chain and strengthen its position in global markets. So, to discuss this and much more, we are joined by an eminent panel of experts. I'm pleased to welcome in the studio Mr. Updeep Singh, Chairman, National Council on Textiles and Technical Textiles, Assocham. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
We are also delighted to welcome Dr. Chatrath Rajagopal, Executive Director of the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council, Mumbai, who is joining us virtually. Thank you, both of you, for joining us, and welcome to Sunset TV, sir.
Thank you
very
so
much. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dr. Rajagopal, I would like to begin with you, sir, since you were part of the recently concluded Textile Summit 2026, and the summit brought together policymakers, industry leaders, academia and stakeholders from across the textile value chain. So I would like to understand from you what were the key discussions and major takeaways from the summit and what roadmap emerged for the future of the sector.
Yeah, I think the summit which concluded yesterday, and we had the honor of attending that, was something which is a work which was going on for almost 2-3 months in preparation. And I must really compliment the Ministry of Textiles, because the work and the quality of presentations for in the 2 days that the summit was held were extremely useful, in the sense that they covered a wide range of subject line, and basic idea was to develop what they called state export action plans and district export action plans. That was the motive, and with this the entire value chain from farm to fashion, keeping in mind the Honorable Prime Minister's 5F formulation, which is absolutely catches the entire spirit of the textile industry: farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashion, and fashion to forest. This entire sequence of the value chain was captured. 2 days of intensive discussion with the representatives of state governments, and they were accompanied by, in some cases, by even at the district level. So the key idea here was that how to strengthen the district and cluster ecosystems, because I think one of the very novel ideas which have come up in this government's economic planning has been the focus on the district as an economic unit. So in fact, even if you start mapping at the district level, you are really hitting at the heart and the grassroots of the production system. Because whatever happens in the states, and in the states within the districts and the talukas. So therefore, if you focus on those districts and talukas, you are really at the root of the investment, the root of the production system, since most of the ecosystem in the districts and the states will determine the level of production that we get. So therefore, not only states, districts, but cluster-based ecosystems are also, as an objective. Enhance SME participation, which is another key area, because almost 55 to 60% of the production in the textile sector comes from the SME segment. Then issues of infrastructure and logistics, because if you go to major clusters, you will find that the infrastructure is something which is not fully developed. But there is a need to develop the transportation system, from the factory to the port, from the the raw material coming from different states to a particular manufacturing unit in a particular district. So all these were important aspects. So this were actually the foundations on which the production systems have been built. So therefore, this is a focus. Going forward, building from below, is a very, very key strategic move. So therefore, this was very important, and this will help us in developing the spirit of exports, the ecosystem which must come with exports, because we have a very ambitious target of $100 billion of exports by 2030 and a market size of $350 billion.
Right, sir.
That is the size. So therefore, these are very, very important initiatives which will go a very long way in strengthening the manufacturing base.
Certainly, sir, and the kind of progress and expansion this sector has seen is remarkable. And, India's textile sector has emerged as one of the country's strongest economic pillars. It is also the second largest, employer after agriculture, Mr. Singh, and it contributes significantly to the GDP, to exports, and to the rural livelihoods. Sir, so I would like to, since you were also part of this summit, and so I would like to understand from you the journey and achievement of the India's textile industry so far.
Indian textile sector is one of the strongest pillars of our economy, and it contributes significantly to the manufacturing, exports, employment, and rural livelihoods. It's about 45 million people are employed directly, while connecting millions of farmers, weavers, artisans, MSMEs, SMEs, and large industries.
Right.
So over the past decade, if you look at, the sector have undergone a remarkable transformation. And that is through initiatives such as PLI schemes, PM Mitra Parks, and also the National Textile Mission. National Technical Textile Mission, right. And now what is coming up is as well National Cotton Mission, right, which was announced in the budget, and infrastructure development and strong focus on sustainability. So that is very, very important, which the textile industry has undergone a transformation to reach to an innovation level. Mm-hmm. And today India is among the few countries with a complete textile value chain, right from fiber, even cotton, polyester to fashion. So as our Honorable Prime Minister say 5F, so India is one of the very few countries to get into that. And most importantly, global supply chains are being reshaped. The world is actively looking for trusted manufacturing partners, and India has a historic opportunity to emerge as a preferred global sourcing destination.
Right.
And our success will depend on 4 fundamentals.
Right.
Strong political will, which I find today is, and policy direction, a proactive bureaucracy. And I must appreciate the bureaucracy we have today, especially in Ministry of Textiles, that is really proactive, and the industry willing to invest. Mm-hmm. And lastly, but not the least, the innovation and the long-term policy certainty. Mm. So these are the 4 things. These can transform the Indian textile sector into a global hub. So all that right. is what I...
And that is what is the Prime Minister Modi's vision also.
That's right. That's right. And I'm very sure that if we have these 4 fundamentals in place, and which are, mm-hmm. I think India is going to grow in textiles, and it's going to be a supplier, a trusted supplier to the world.
Indeed, sir. Dr. Rajagopal, the government has set an ambitious target of increasing textile and apparel exports from around $37 billion to $100 billion by 2030, which you also mentioned, sir. So what will be the key drivers behind achieving this target, and which market and regions offer the bigger opportunity for India? How do we plan to double textile market size?
I think what's going to drive us is that right now we are very good in the commodity business. We are very good in about 4 or 5 items of the apparel sector. What will drive for us will be the innovation that we will bring to our production, the niche production systems. And you must appreciate that India is one of the few countries which is very strong in design. And we have the entrepreneurial capability as well as the creativity too. So we need to differentiate ourselves in terms of the design components, in terms of value add, and in terms of trying to produce items which the world will consume. So one of the key points always made in the context of Indian textiles is that we are more cotton centric, whereas the world is moving towards man-made fiber and others.
Right.
While that point is well taken, but the question is that even within the cotton, you can have blends and you can work your way forward. In fact, athleisure and various other types of fashion items can surely have components of cotton and also of the man-made fiber. While I'm sure the efforts are on, as Mr. Updeep Singh said, under the PLI, to strengthen the man-made fiber segment, which is one of the goals, because ultimately you will have to compete in the world in terms of the products that the world wants, rather than what you produce. So here what will happen is that, looking forward to which other market, we are now in a very, very, good position that we are negotiating FTAs. And those FTAs are the remarkable speed with which we have been able to, gather pace and negotiate with the developed countries. Earlier we were doing only with some of the other smaller countries, ASEAN, who are more competitors.
Right.
So today we are standing on the threshold of EU, which is one of the largest markets, which is mother of all agreements, as the EU themselves are saying. We have the US agreement where I think it's finalization. Then we have the UK agreement, which hopefully on 15 July will come into force. So all these will provide us tremendous opportunities in terms of tariff and the level playing field, which we have been looking for. Because currently we are paying higher tariffs than our competitors. And mind you, the buyers are very keen to come to India. And across the world, we have received a lot of reports in our organization how buyers would like to move out. Apart from the China Plus One strategy, they would like to diversify. So we will see good growth in the markets where we have FTAs. Currently, for instance, UK, we have about 6% market share. We can easily make it to 12% in the next 3 years. Similarly, US tariff system, once it stabilizes, it has always been a strong market. Our companies are very well placed to take advantage. Australia is one. Canada also is under the works. UAE has come. So all these are, FTA framework, which gives us the tariff advantages and which also attracts investment from others. Because once you have a competitive tariff, you will also attract investment, FDI, by which you strengthen your manufacturing. So we are looking forward to a very, very, a bright future as we go forward from 2026, when all these things come into play. So export growth will take place, ma'am, and we are going to be very close to our targets, if not achieve the target itself.
Absolutely, sir. We will see growth in the market. And so, Mr. Singh, the summit aimed at transforming India into a global textile exports powerhouse and free trade agreements, which Doctor also mentioned. So, how important are FTAs in expanding India's textile footprint globally? And like sir also mentioned, which countries are likely to be the major growth markets according to you?
See, if you allow me, before I come to this, I would like to add something on the $100 billion.
Please go ahead, sir.
This thing.
Yeah.
See, this target of $100 billion export in 2030 is ambitious, no doubt, but it is achievable. And because the simple reason, the world is diversifying supply chains. See, to realize this ambition, India estimate is that India would require approximately $60 billion of capital investment, out of which more than half is attributed to the machinery.
Okay.
So we need that chunk of $60 billion of investment in this to achieve that target of 350 billion economy and $100 billion of exports. Now, equally important in this stage is the long-term visibility of policy.
Okay.
So that would help, because you see, textile investments have a life cycle of almost 15 to 20 years. So anybody who's going to invest need confidence that the key policies will remain stable and predictable.
Okay.
So my opinion is such policies, for example, ROSTL and other PLI schemes, or the new schemes which have been announced in the budget, these schemes need to be for the long term. So that is one which will enable us to achieve this target. And the largest opportunities lie in apparel, home textiles, technical textiles, man-made fibers, sustainable textiles and value-added product. And if the government and industry continue to work together, as we have been doing, India can build this. I mean, this is achievable. Now, coming to your FTA, now FTA, as Mr. Rajgopalan also said, they have become increasingly important because the market access is now as important as manufacturing. So we can manufacture, but we need the market access.
Right.
The best example today, which would be in place on 15th of July, is India-UK agreement. And that is a major opportunity for Indian textiles. And ongoing negotiations with European Union.
Right.
So these are really strategic, I would say, FTAs, which will help. United States continue to remain one of the most important
Largest
markets,
one, right.
while Europe, GCC, Africa and Latin America are also significant opportunities. However, one point I would like to make, that FTAs are not enough.
Okay.
Only FTAs are not enough. I always say that these are icing on the cake. Now, to fully leverage this, Indian industry must remain globally competitive in quality, productivity, sustainability, innovation and the timely deliveries.
Okay.
So these things is what industry need to be ready to do that.
Absolutely.
So along with FTAs, these things are also important
necessary
for industry to grow.
Okay, okay. Dr. Rajagopal, Mr. Singh said that only FTAs are not enough. Policies needs to be predictable. It needs to be for a long term. And like you were also mentioning that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 5F vision, like farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashion and fashion to foreign, has become the guiding framework for the textile sector. So how has this vision transformed the industry, and what role can textiles play in India's journey towards becoming a developed economy by 2047?
No, I think it's all, as you were mentioning yourself. You see, India is one of the very key players in the textile segment,
right.
Second largest employment provider. So actually, as it was mentioned in the summit also, you see 30% of labor is involved in the textile production. So that labor is very, very important. So therefore, the question here is that in a labor-intensive sector, as we move forward, you will need to have what shall I say, efforts, policy framework, which will ensure that the entrepreneurial spirit and the labor and the capital work together. Okay. And that is why we had the labor reforms, there were landmark reforms, and that is getting adopted by the industry. And then over a period of time, we must understand that there is both the labor and the capital must coexist. And therefore, once this module is set in, once you have the tariff, the reason why the tariffs have become important is all our competitors have had an advantage over us over the last 50 or at least 10 to 15 years. So therefore, and we have been slowly pushed out, not because we lack anything, but because at the other end, when we find that, look, this guy is not 10%, he can drop his prices, which our people cannot. Well, there is an issue there. But now once that level playing field comes, so over a period of time, you will find that once the confidence comes into the industry, when the world looks at India even more closely, when investments come, which will come, because tariff is and investment go hand in hand. Once the market, the tariffs come, the investment also will come behind it. So therefore, we believe that this tariff simplification, very important. Simultaneously, it's not as if everything will be fine. There will be non-tariff barriers. That is where, as Updeep ji said, issues of traceability, sustainability, issues of compliances, standards, regulations, all this will come out. So this we'll have to be prepared, which means that if we face the world on equal terms, you will have to really invest in some of these things. So labor, sustainable practices, and also your value addition, and of course, an effort to try and be very, very clear about the supply chain, the clean supply chain with which you deal. Okay. And that is where Mr. Updeep Singh always uses the word trust. Well, that is important. The supply chain should be trusted by the world. So automatically the other things will follow. in terms of business growth and export growth.
In this, I would like to add a couple of points.
Please go ahead, sir.
See, you said 5F by Honorable Prime Minister. This is an inclusive growth.
Right.
So where you take care of the farmers, and up to the fashion.
Right.
So this inclusive growth of the value chain, that would happen once we have all these things what Mr. Rajagopalan said are in place. That is one. Second important factor to reach that Viksit Bharat 2047 and
goal.
Also this target of 100 billion export is on the labor reforms.
Okay.
I would like to say that the export orders and the labor welfare and labor reform are linked very closely, even more closely than what it is seen apparently.
Okay.
See now these 4 labor reforms, I mean the 4 labor codes which have come with this labor reform, these are a landmark decision.
Right.
And now 2 things need to be done. One, we should inform the world about it.
Okay.
The whole global world should know that India has done these labor reforms, number 1. Number 2, what we need to do immediately is that this should be harmonized with the states.
Okay.
Now, it is the responsibility of the state government as well to implement these norms wherever it is in their jurisdiction.
I think that was the reason this summit was done.
Yes.
Right.
So, I made that presentation as well there.
Right.
That if we don't do this, I give you a simple example. In one of the countries, there was a tragedy in which 1,100 workers died and 2,500 got injured. And their export at that point in time was $23 billion per year.
Okay.
And the whole world thought that the whole economy would collapse. The buyers would go away. But remarkably what they did, their export went up from 23 billion to 47 billion today in almost 10 years. So what did they do? They took care of the labor welfare, the safety standards and whatnot for the whole of the industry. So that is what we need to look at and learn from such examples.
Okay. Okay. So basically we need a holistic approach.
Right.
Also, sir, I would like to understand from you, employment and inclusive growth, which you also mentioned. The textile and apparel sector employs more than 5 crore people, with women accounting for nearly half of the workforce. So, I would like to understand from you that what new employment and entrepreneurship opportunities do you see emerging for the youth and women in the years ahead?
See, once we are moving up the value chain in textiles, right from spinning, weaving, then going to the garmenting and made-ups, we employ many women there. So 2 things would emerge coming up. One, the workforce which is AI enabled.
Okay.
See, normally people say that AI is going to take away the jobs. No, I don't agree. It is that people who do not enable themselves on AI, even at the shop floor level, they would be redundant. They would be in trouble.
Right.
Otherwise, AI is not going to take away the jobs. It is going to make us more efficient, more productive. So that is one. Second, I see a lot of increase in women power. I mean, the women workforce in going ahead in the textile industry because we are going up the value chain. That is number 2. So we feel that with this investment of 60 billion and going to an economy of $350 billion, we'll almost, if not more, we'll add another half of this number as an employment.
Okay.
Which is AI enabled.
AI enabled.
Yes.
Dr. Rajagopal, technology, as Mr. Singh mentioned, the technology is rapidly transforming several sectors. And recently during the India AI Summit, from AI-driven design selection and quality control to smart manufacturing and automation, how is technology reshaping the future of textiles in India?
No, I think technology, as you know, has really reshaped the way we have been living now. As you would have seen yourself, with a phone in our hand, we can do whatever we want.
Absolutely.
But in textiles, you would find that the AI would be an important tool. And I also agree with Updeep ji that it is not going to displace labor. It is going to help us in our productivity levels. Already our productivity, some people say, is lower than other countries, but production is high, productivity is low, so that balance That imbalance which is there, that will be corrected by appropriate use of technology. That is number one. Number two, technology will also aid in moving up the value chain. It will also help you find, design combinations. And it should also be accompanied by higher investment, what we feel, in R&D. You see, it has to go together. You can't say technology will be alone. Technology must be one of the tools of R&D. So R&D, unfortunately, we have yet to catch on, as people have been saying. Our investment in R&D is pretty low in the company, though some of the companies have realized the importance. And therefore, when you have control on your R&D, you will be able to use technology to your benefit. Otherwise, technology could disrupt your production system. So I would say technology with R&D orientation that we need. In fact, we are a country with extremely skilled labor in the textile sector. Our textile workforce, our textile institutes, our technical institutes, they are all there, and they are all training people at different levels, and that is very important. So it is not as if, even though the textile sector is an old sector, it would really benefit from the modern technology, and as I said, accompanied with R&D. So you will have to now start looking at technology along with investment in R&D. That will really give you the results, in my view. And I think as we go forward, AI is something we will have to live with and adapt. There is no way we can ignore it. How to adapt it to suit our interests, especially in labor-intensive sectors, without replacing labor, but as an aid and a tool, increasing our productivity. So the
Absolutely.
labor benefits by using this. So that is the way we will go. And I'm sure the way we are going now, right from the district to the state to the center, to the national policies, state policies, district level policies, well, if they are all sort of synchronized, you will get an ecosystem for manufacturing, which will help us go forward.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, so we are almost out of time. What is your vision for India's textile sector going ahead?
See, in my opinion, India has once-in-a-generation opportunity. The world is looking for trusted textile manufacturing partners, and India possesses all ingredients. India has raw materials, India has entrepreneurial capability, India has skilled workforce, integrated value chain to meet that demand. If we continue to combine strong political will, a proactive bureaucracy, and industry ready to invest, policy certainty, and global competitive manufacturing, I am confident that India will achieve its ambition of $100 billion exports
By 2030.
By 2030, and build a $350 billion textile economy, create millions of new jobs. That is most important, and make textiles one of the strongest pillars of Viksit Bharat 2047.
Absolutely, sir. Dr. Rajagopal, any closing comments? What is your vision for India's textile sector over the next decade? Very quickly, sir.
No, I think I couldn't agree with Updeep ji more. We are at a spot in our textile industry journey where we can really, scale up. And only point is just as the government takes a whole of government approach, we have to take a whole of textile approach. That means the textile industry should be seen as a modular value chain. Each of the previous segment becomes a raw material for the other. If you look at it as a whole and not in parts, you will really prosper. And I am telling you, there are hardly a few countries in the world which can boast of a textile industry. And India can look at the textile industry with great future, even though it is one of the oldest industries here. So I feel very proud of being associated with this. And when I look forward, I really feel that we are at a tipping point. And if we play our cards well, you will really be able to achieve all the objectives that we have set for ourselves.
Indeed, sir. So India's textile story is not just about fabric and fashion. It is a story of farmers, weavers, artisans, entrepreneurs, innovation and global ambition. So as the nation moves towards becoming a developed economy, the textile sector will remain a key driver of growth, employment, exports and inclusive development. India is not only making for itself, it is increasingly making for the world. With that, it's a wrap on today's show. Thank you to both of you for joining us and sharing your insights on this important topic. Well, viewers, that is all I have for you in this edition of Perspective. Stay tuned and keep watching Sansad TV.